This is going to be a real talk. I just want to come share some hard but true facts about the mindset that you need to have when it comes to you operating. When it comes to you being in this whole, your career, I want to talk to you about what is the mindset that you really need to have. Because I know a lot of you guys are out there. You can find yourself in this mindset of always feeling like you got to prove yourself and find yourself being stressed out. I wanted to really show you what is the mindset to really think about. We're talking about corporate America today because I really want you guys to start the week off right. And I believe that this live stream is going to be able to help you guys to know how to show up. And it's also going to help you to know what's the mindset that you need to have. It's very, very important that you understand your career and the part that you play. So when you think about this whole career, it is not their job to make you successful. And when I say them, you guys know who I am speaking about. Corporate America, it was not built for your success. And so I want you guys to switch your mindsets and do not believe that they are out to make sure that you succeed. And I will explain this, right? So I know you're like, Alicia, this is really extreme. This is really harsh. I'm going to explain myself because people get so tied up into this mindset of having this whole company first mindset. And that is the first mistake that you make, is when you start to think and believe that they should go first, right? And again, I know this is probably goes against opposite of what you guys have been taught because, we have been taught to just do whatever we can to hold on to our jobs and all this other kind of stuff. And I do know that right now is a tough time for some. I don't want to make you feel like I'm just saying to leave your job right now, or don't even think that I'm saying that you should not work hard. That is not this kind of live stream. This kind of live stream is just to snatch you back into the right mindset of you being able to understand the part that they play in your success. Okay. If you do not see what is actually happening now, I tell people, like, especially right now, people are being laid off. That is not a fact or something that I will not see, right? I see, right? This is having the opposite effect on people that it should. What is happening is that they are starting to have a fear of, oh my God, I got to do whatever I have to do just to hold on to my job. I do understand that when you are in an environment to where maybe folks are being laid off, I think it is smart to be able to know and understand how to set yourself apart from everybody else, and also to be able to express the value that you bring. I will say that that is important. But on the other hand of that, I think right now what is happening is that people are starting to get this mindset of, I got to do whatever I got to do just to keep my job, even if that means them having to ignore everything that they need. And what people tend to do is they tend to push back the thought of their success, and they only focus on their job success, right? The only success that they want to even think about is not theirs, but just strictly company success. They will find themselves starting to push their goals, right? Meaning that job's goals more than their own goals. And I need you guys to understand that when you're talking about working, when you're talking about who you work for, right? They do have some concern, right, about your success to a certain extent. Child, there are some places that don't have none, right? But there are some that does have it in mind. But at the end of the day, you have to understand this. At the end of the day, they will always choose themselves. Always. And when you understand this, you won't take things that happen in your career so personal, and you won't start to feel like there's something wrong with you, because people tend to think that if I work really, 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 really hard, but in their mind, what's really being said is that if I just show up and I just serve, even to the point to where you find yourself stressed out, even to the point you find yourself burnt out, even to the point you might even find yourself that you don't even have a life outside of work. You think that if I show up and do all this serving and I'm working, right, then that means that they will see how I'm just so valuable. Wrong. And if anybody who does not know me, I was in HR for over 10 years. This is not something that I just found online. This is something that I know about. And I think it's really important for people to understand that the relationship between you and them is transactional. So all you people who say, I love my team, I can't leave my team by themselves, the relationship between you and them is transactional. Now, this is not saying that you cannot build like friendships there, right? This is not saying that you can't bond with the people at work. But what this is saying is, do not play yourself. It does not matter how close you feel with the people that you work with. At the end of the day, everybody is out for their own success. And guess what? It's nothing personal, it's business. And so I want you to start operating your career with the mindset of it's just business. This does not mean that you cannot care for the work that you do, because a lot of the clients that I work with, right, they do have a certain bond with the work that they do, but they also understand this, that the skills that they have, those skills belong to them and they can bring those skills anywhere. So they don't attach the change that they may desire to make with their skills to one place. They understand that they can take those skills and bring them anywhere that they desire to. And when you understand that, you won't find yourself bound by feeling like I can only do this thing here. Because it's just so amazing how people will allow themselves to think that their job is stable. There is no stable job. And I think it's really important to keep at the forefront of your mind that, hey, I can lose this job at any time. You can lose, it doesn't matter how well you do, how hard you work. Sometimes there are folks who lose their job simply based on there's somebody who works there that does not like them. And so when you start to understand that your career should not be this race of you thinking that if I just perform and work myself into the ground, that means that they will, just no, that is not a way to secure your spot. And I think it's so important to, as you're operating your career, to keep your success at the forefront. Yes, you are able to show up and serve with the skills that you have. Yes, you should serve and do the job that they hired you for. And yes, I'm the kind of person, you guys know, I say it all the time, I go hard in everything that I do. I work hard. So I'm not afraid of hard work. So this is not a live stream to say, hey, just, go to work and just, do nothing. But what it is, the live stream is for, is to show you, keep your success first. Be more focused on your goals than theirs. Allow yourself to be able to decide on things, do not first, because people tend to think about them first. They know that it's time for a change. They know that it's time for a move. They know that it's time for a raise. Right. But you'll train yourself to automatically think about their needs before yours. And that's the worst thing that you can make. I'm all about you learning how to take control of your career boldly. Because at the end of the day, that career is yours. And so when you start to operate in your career at a level of, I have to do everything, right? So I can please the people around me. And you do not understand and realize that when it comes to your career and who you work for, it is transactional. They hired you because they had a problem that needed to be solved, and your skill set solves that for them. And in return, they pay you for it. That is a transaction. And it's so important to not get so emotionally connected to who you work for and even what it is that you do. So in those hard times when you have to decide and you have to make a move, you can make those moves based upon what is best for you, right? I hear it all the time. I have clients that say, well, it's so hard for me to leave right now because my team needs me. Friend, you need you. Your family that you ain't seen in weeks, they need you. Your spouse who you haven't spent time with in weeks, they need you. But this is what happens when you start to feel like the value that you have is tied with them. And also, this happens when you start to feel like you owe them something. And I'm not fussing. I love what I do. Okay. And I want you guys to be able to really take control. But this is what happens when you find yourself always thinking about them first. When you think about them first, you put everybody else, everything you love, they automatically fall third on the list, fourth on the list. And it should not be that way. I want you guys to be able to operate your career finding yourself to operate in a place as to where I'm not trying to prove myself. They hired you for the job. But if you keep on being in this mindset of you have to prove yourself and you have to prove that you deserve the job, every day you show up to work, it's going to be about you having to prove something. And you shouldn't have to prove anything. You should be trying to build in your role. You should be trying to get yourself in a place as to where you're able to set yourself up for what's next. Be in a place where you are wanting to set yourself up for what's next. But it is impossible to do that if you're operating out of a place of, I have to prove myself. But again, this goes back to you not understanding corporate America and understanding what they were made for. They do need you in order to live and to survive, but they was not built to make you successful. They were built to make themselves. You even see it now, right? This whole recession talk has been going on for a year now, right? When they even smelled a sniffle, if they even heard a little eek, they was already laying off jobs. And you're right, this is true for any jobs. They was already laying off people before it was even confirmed that if this thing was going to be real or not, right? Even now, The experts are not even really sure what this is going to actually. They was already laying off people before they even got a clear idea of what this was. So do you see how fast they will actually decide on something when it comes to, hey, our success maybe, hold on. If they even think they about to lose money, child, they will they'll lay off 300-400 people. They don't have any facts yet. It looked like something may be out there. Okay, bye y'all. So do you see how fast they are to respond to make sure that they stay in a place of being successful? How much more should you be the same way? How much more? How much more should you be able? And that's why I tell people, like, you are the CEO. Oh, I'm sorry when I say they. Corporate America, I'm sorry. You are the CEO of your, right? Take control of your career. See your career as its own little just business. This is yours, right? My own self. I've been in business full time for 3.5 years now, right? There are times where I'll sit down and I look over stuff. I'm like, okay, these were the expenses for this past month. Like, I'm sitting down and I'm seeing all of my goals that I have, and I'm making sure that everything is in alignment, that needs to be in alignment to make sure that I can reach those goals, right? Companies do the same thing too. Your job does the same thing too. The same thing. They're always trying to sit back and assess if they are on the right track. And guess what? This is the mindset that you need to have to. You need to train yourself to sit back and to assess where you are, right? What you are trying to work towards. Sit down and assess if the actions that you do right now, are they in alignment with the goals that you have? Do you have goals, right? What are you trying to work towards? Like, I'm telling you, this is the way that you're able to set yourself up in a place as to where, for one, if you was happen to be fired or quit or whatever, you're able to understand what's next for you because you already had goals. So you should be able to say, okay, you know what, this job did not go the way that I think that it was going to go, but hey, I still know what's next for me because I have been able to set those clear goals. But most people struggle when they like lose their job all of a sudden, or they feel lost because they never had goals for them. The only goal was, I have to just get the job. That's it. They didn't think past that point. So once they actually found the job, right? Now the goals was, I have to get this done here. I got to hit this KPI at work. That's it. So once they finally got the job, their goals was only around the work that they did there. And so when people are laid off from work out the blue, or they get fired or quit or whatever, they'll start feeling lost because they have not thought about what they want in their goals in so long, right? And so you being clear about the goals that you have, it gives you something to fall back on. And that's why it's important to understand that when you have a job, to understand what is the role, right, that job plays. Is so important because when you understand that this job is just a vehicle to get me to my goals, you'll understand, right, that job is not the only way there, and you'll understand how to show up every day at work because you understand the part that this job plays. You understand that this job does not fulfill me in a sense of, I don't get my self-worth from this job. You understand that because you know that this is just a way that I use my skill set to get me to my goals. And those goals can be whatever, right? But people will lean more on who they work for more than what it is that they want. And you're setting yourself up. And y'all was not planning. I did not plan to even go live this morning, but I read something and it just got my spirit stirred up because I want you guys to understand the power that you hold. Even in the seasons when you're like, Alicia, I'm looking for a job, girl, I got bills to pay. Understand it. But even in the seasons of lack or in need, you have to understand that you still hold that power. You hold the power, right? Because even if you do have to take a survival job for a season, understand that you still hold the power because you know that you chose this job only for a season, but you also know that even after I get this job, my mind is still on what I really want. My mind is to still put forth the effort and the steps to get what I really want. And people think that when you have the power over your career, that means that everything just always goes right. Absolutely not. When I'm talking about you holding the power in your career, I'm talking about even in those dark seasons, even when you find yourself in a job that you don't necessarily like, even when you find yourself in those jobs that, I'm not really that excited about the job, you understand that I have the power to make a choice and to make a move. So having the power in your career is not saying that you will always choose the best job. Because honestly, sometimes you find yourself getting trapped. People are like, wait a minute, this ain't what we talked about. You'll find yourself, wait a minute, this job ain't what I thought it was going to be. Even in those moments, you still have the power, to decide what it is that you will or will not accept. Right. And so understanding where the place that your job holds is going to allow you to make the moves and to really, y'all, to make the plans that is going to put you first. And you have to understand this. When I'm talking about being able to put you first, it's not about just you. When you make a move, or sometimes there are some tough things that you're going to have to like say, man, this is a tough choice to make. But you understand that it's not just about me. Me being able to make this career move is about my husband, my wife, my kids, my family. It's about me. So being able to think about, well, wait a minute, think about if the moves that you make, who is it going to serve more? Them, meaning corporate, or you, which means you, your spouse, your kids, whoever. And that's one of the things that helped me even in my own career, or even now since I've started my own thing. I know that the things that I decide, they don't just hit me. They hit the people around me as well. And so sometimes you may not have enough confidence to decide on something, but at least think about the other people that is also there as well. And so I want you guys to lean more in on not the things that you have to do to be successful at work. Think about what are the things that you have to do and the person that you need to be successful overall. Remove yourself away from that job title. I want you to remove yourself away from who it is that you work for. And I want you to think about, what is it that I need to do to be successful? What is it that I need to have in place? And again, this is not oh girl, it's time to quit your job. Y'all have to stop thinking that when you think about a job search, all you think about is going online and hitting apply, apply, apply. Your job search should start way before then. There's work that needs to be done before that. Even when you're thinking about, okay, it's time to look for another job, don't think about your page on LinkedIn just yet. Don't think about resume fonts, not right now. Think about, what does this next move mean for you? Think about your life, those things that are very near and dear, those things in your life that needs you, and what is the role that you need that is going to support that. And then also think about, what are you wanting to move away from so you don't run back into it again? Because a lot of the mistakes that you've made could have been held back if you would have just took the time to think about what you need. Don't even think about taking a course. Friend, we're going to get there. That is on the list, but that's just not at the top of the list. Think about, who is it that I am now? Because if you find yourself stuck, it's because you are not the person that you once was. Because you think about it, you had the job for 5 years now. And when you first got the job, you was excited about it. But wait a minute, something has changed now. Even though I'm doing the same thing, I don't feel like this don't work for me anymore. Especially when you like, I don't know why, I just cannot see, why is it that I'm not happy? I should be happy. I mean, I'm being paid. You literally will start to go into a war within yourself, be like, girl, what's the problem? Like, what? It's because you are not the same as you once was when you first started the job. So you start feeling stuck, like, wait a minute, I just don't. But what most people tend to do is, when they feel stuck, they will fight it with, oh, be happy that you have a job. Right now, all these people are, you start to find reasons as to why you shouldn't feel stuck, even though you feel it. And so most people will try to resist it rather than lean in on it. Like, hold on, let me really like deep dive into this and see, why is it that I feel this way? Why is it that something that once worked for me doesn't really work anymore? Something's happened. But if you're so head down at work and you just want to get these tasks done at work, you want to overextend yourself and be all, you're not going to have time to. So you find yourself having to fight against this emotion for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, because what you have told yourself is, what I feel right now, that don't mean nothing. My workload means more. I hear it all the time. I have people say, Alicia, I really want to work with you. I just don't have the time to. You mean to tell me that you got time to go spend 8, 9 hours helping them feel, you will help them feel their dreams? you will spend all your time to help them reach their goals, but you don't have no time to reach your goals. Mm-mm. You will burn yourself into the ground to help your company reach their goals, but you ain't got no time to reach your goals. Friend, you are setting yourself up to be disappointed. You are setting yourself up to feel like there is something wrong with you, and it's not. It's just that your focus is in the wrong place. Because a lot of people struggle with being able to show up and perform the way that they know that they need to because they've made it only about their company. An example, I have clients all the time. They be like, girl, I'm ready to go. And I tell them, hey, right now, if you look for a job, the average job search can take like 3 to 5 months, right? And so when folks are like in like week 3 of their job search, and they're like, oh my God, I can't find anything. I'm like, girl, calm down. You real early. So the average job search is like 3 to 5 months, or it was. Now it's anywhere between like 6 to 10 months. Right. So even if you are thinking about wanting to plan a next move, friend, you might have to get comfortable in your role. Now, there are some job searches that take a lot more time than they need to because folks don't have no kind of strategy and they don't understand that what used to work in a job search don't quite work no more, or it may take more work, right? Because there are a lot more folks out there. So there are different strategies. Even my clients have to teach them strategies on how to stand out in this time because you need strategy, because all you're going to do is just burn yourself out and you start thinking that there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You have the experience, you have the expertise. You just got to show up in a way to where you can stand out, because it is not the person that has the most experience that is the one that finds a job. It's the one that's able to express the value and the skills there and have them in alignment with what they need. And so don't think that there's something wrong with it. You just need to have some stuff tweaked, right? You may need to think about adding in more strategies and things of that sort. Right now, it can take you 6 to 10 months, because what happens is when you find yourself at work and you like, child, I'm ready to get up out of here, you be like, I ain't doing nothing. But friend, it may be a few months now. Chill, okay? But when you have only made your job about them, you be like, I ain't doing no work. I'm done. You find yourself shutting down. You find yourself having to drag yourself to work in the morning because you made it about them. You did not make it about you. And when you make your career and your job about you, meaning that, hey, I will show up the way that I know that I need to, because I know that I have to build something. You also know that I have built up such a work ethic. You know that it took me years to get to this point. I'm not going to let them tear that down, because this is what happens. People don't realize you will train yourself on how to be. You will train yourself that when you are in environments that I don't like it, I'm tired of being here, you train yourself to shut down. And to me, again, you will train yourself to be somebody that you know that you're not. And so I know how it is to have to work at a job that I don't like. But you know what? I'm showing up 100% because it's about me. It is not about you. And I'm not going to allow myself to form these bad habits because I don't like being here. It's called being mature. It's called being able to operate in just integrity. You hire me to do a job, I will do the job. And so even if you are in a point where you're like, I'm ready to go, and you have not found that next role, make it about you, because it is so hard to leave a job. And this is an example I use all the time. You cannot leave a job. So let's say the scale is from like a 1 to a 10. 10 mean, baby, you exceeding expectations. You okay, like you are on your game. You cannot leave a job at a 3 and think that you about to start this other job at a 10. It don't work that way. You have trained yourself to be another way. And so when you should be showing up at that new job, allowing them to see the expertise and allowing yourself to be in a mindset that now you are ready to serve, it's going to be hard, because now you left that job at a 3 and now all of a sudden you're trying to bing all the way up to a 10. My friend, it don't work like that. I've been there to where I was in environments where I had shut down. Don't ask me to do nothing. Don't even look my way. But I was hurting myself because, for one, I did not train myself to push through difficult times. You have to be able to train yourself to push through hard times and keep your character. You will train yourself to, hey, when things don't go the way that I think that they should go, I shut down. And guess what? That reminds me of my 4-year-old. And that's something that we will literally teach our kids, but we don't do it. Let your child throw a fit, because they didn't get their way. What you gonna say? That is not what we do. You be like, are you sure? Because at work, Every time things don't go your way, no, it's not about them. It's about me. And even and y'all, I'm a firm believer, okay? You guys know I got a relationship with the Lord, and I believe that everything works together for your good. Even those things that don't feel good, they work together for your good. This is God. He said, for them that love the Lord, everything works together for their good. So even in those seasons where you may be at work feeling like there are not environments that are bad, absolutely, right? And I say all the time that you cannot control what they do, but you can control how you respond. And you'll be surprised when you respond the right way, the impact it leaves on them. Now, it does not mean that they will like be like, oh, girl, you so right. No, it don't mean that. They may never tell you anything, but it's how you respond, how you will train yourself to respond, not like how everybody else does. I've had to teach myself how to respond and not react. Why? Because it is not about them, it's about me. Because whoever you have trained yourself to be at this job, that's how you will show up at the next job, good or bad. So you got to ask yourself, why is it that I'm so triggered at work? Why is it that everything just sets me off? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, why is it that I have allowed this job to get so underneath my skin? What is it? And a lot of times it's not even really anything that they did, not saying that they have not done anything. It's not that it's just them, it's just that you're not happy there no more. That job doesn't serve you in the capacity that it should. It just don't work for you no more. And guess what? That is a beautiful thing because that means that you have grown. But what happens is when you take the emotion of I feel stuck, it's time to move on. When you take something that should be exciting and now it is turned into something that is nasty, that is something that's caused you to shut down, it is something that has caused the attitude to be seen more than your expertise. Now you have allowed something that was a sign that it's time to move on. Now you have allowed it to affect the way that you show up and serve. And that's not what that was for. That feeling of being stuck was only there to say, hey girl, you've grown, it's time to move on. But so don't take something that is a sign and now it's something that has turned into something mean. It shouldn't even be that way. And people don't realize how you are at work. It not only trains who you are at work, it trains who you are at home. And so now at work, you've been so used to just shutting down. You'll find yourself being the same way at home. You find yourself at one point, whenever there was problems or issues that had to be solved, you find yourself being excited about being able to solve problems and issues, right? Because it allowed you to show your expertise, right? But now that it's time to serve somewhere else and you have not allowed yourself to lean into that. Now, when you see problems and issues or concerns, you get frustrated. So a thing that was once your strength has now become something that is holding you back. People say, oh, it's only a job. If you feel like your job is only a job, baby, I'm not the one for you. I'm not the one. And guess what? I'm okay with that. Because I believe that your career is more than that. I don't believe it's your whole life, but I do believe that it can impact your whole life. And this is why I do what I do in the way that I serve my clients, the way that I serve my clients, because it's just not about a career. Yes, you call me a career coach, okay. But I want to be able to help you to identify the blind spots in your life and allow and help you to have a clear plan on how to build a career that is going to support the life that you want, because that is what's going to allow you to get that sense of fulfillment in your career, because it allows you to live the life that you want. So like I was saying earlier, when it's time to think about a new move, people think about the resume, LinkedIn. Why are you thinking about that right now? When I work with my clients, we will get to that, but not right now. What I want to know about is you. Where are you at right now? What is it that has made you feel like it's time for, like that next move? Like what is it? What is actually allowing you to feel that way? Because I want you to be able to identify, are you trying to move on to something or are you trying to escape something? That's two different things. It's two different things when you know that it's just time for more, friend. It's another thing when you're like, I don't want to deal with this no more. I'm gone. What are you escaping? Because I don't want you to make your whole career about you trying to escape things, because you deserve more than that. And again, this all goes back to the mindset that you guys need to have in corporate America. It's about you. And it sounds so, oh, Alicia, that don't sound good. It is not selfish, because you understand the more that you serve yourself, the better you can serve everybody else. You understand the more that you set yourself up for success, the more you're able to help the other people around you be successful as well. So this is not a mindset to say, girl, don't care about them. No, no. Them folks hired you for a job, do your job. And I believe that, and I'm the kind of person, I love to be excellent in everything that I do. I go hard in the things that I do. It's not so much about the thing that I'm doing, it's about me. It's about me being able to train myself to operate at a certain standard. And so even when you're thinking about your career and what does success mean for you, and because I know it can be hard at times to try to think about where does your career fit in the grand scheme of things. Like, should I care this much about my career? Is it really that important? Is it not? But if you keep your success first, and not just the success as far as like how much money you make in your career, I'm talking about your life success as far as your family and your friends and yourself and the life goals that you have. If you keep that first and allow that to make sure that you stay in alignment, a lot of the things that you think is so hard to choose, you're gonna realize it's not as hard as I thought it was. It's not as hard, right? Because now you have something to steer you. Because you know, wait a minute, if it don't line up with this, with these goals, it's a no. And guess what? You won't feel bad about that. So even if you are at work and you're like, I can't leave my team, you understand, look, I love y'all. Here is my phone number. I don't mind us hanging out, us being able to chat, whatever. But at the end of the day, these goals come first, because you'll start to learn and understand that all of this consideration that you give them, they won't even give an ounce of that. Why? It's nothing personal. And so I don't want you guys to take your career so to heart as if it means something. It means something to a degree, but it doesn't mean as much as you think it does. And when I say that, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying two things, because I'm not. Because I just said that when you think about your career, that it's not everything, but it does have an impact on your whole life. But on the other hand, in that, when I say that it doesn't mean that much, what I mean is that when you have to like weigh it, when you think about your career and your family, it ain't much. It don't mean much. Or just your health. That health is in this side of the scale of that career, baby. You be like, look, it ain't. So that is what I mean. Your career can impact your whole life, but when you start to really hold it in a scale against those things that you love on your deathbed, I wish I would have got that one last little task done. But what you will be thinking about, like, man, I wish I could have spent more time with my family. I wish I could have gave God way more time than what I did. Think about that is what is going to be on your mind. So I feel like if that is what's going to be on your mind, then have it on your mind now. Whenever it's time to make a move, have those important things on your mind now. Think about that. And guess what, guys? It does not take a long time to make this change. This change to decide I'm putting my success first. You can do it now. You can start to sit down and think about, okay, where is it that I am? Where is it that I actually desire to be? What are those gaps that need to be filled? Even if you love your job, it's not always about I'm leaving because this job is whack. But like sometimes you bored. Sometimes you're like, man, I've been in this for a while. I'm ready to experience something new. It could be because there is something that you desire to do more of. It could be because you just want to make more money. You be like, I love everybody here. I love my boss. Y'all just ain't paying me enough. So it's not always about you having to escape from something. So just think about, what does that next career move mean for you? Because people will stress themselves out and put too much on themselves to think about the next move, because you think that next move has to be your it move. Sometimes you be like, girl, I've been in this field for a long time and I'm ready to just explore and just have fun. So you can say this next move for me is not something that is going to be like a long-term move, but I do have an itch to try something new. So you take the load off of feeling like I got to choose the job. You're like, no, because I know that my next job is just going to allow me to explore. So now, when you're sitting down and thinking, you're not like, oh my God, like it don't feel like this huge burden, because you know that I know what is the expectation for this next move. Because do not set your look. All of these forever jobs, friend, that's out the window. When I say forever jobs, I mean like you thinking that you're about to find a job that you're gonna stay with that forever. Don't even set yourself up like that. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. What I'm saying is that do not box yourself in thinking that this next move is my job, is the job. I'm gonna be like, whew, I'm done. Because a lot of times it's not that you desire, like to be done. You just be like, I don't want to have this again. And by this, I mean like an actual job search. You're like, oh, that was stressful. So now you find yourself staying in a job, not because you enjoy it or that it even allows you to live the life that you want. You're just staying in a job because you're like, I don't feel like going on a job search. Come on now. Don't sell yourself short. You deserve so much more. Why? Because you are worth the work. It is work doing a job search. I ask people, get you some help. It is work. It's going to be work right now, but you're worth the work. How many times have we had worked for things, child, that did not serve us? I'm talking about work hard to stay in a relationship with somebody who did not care about you. I know I ain't the only one. I'm talking about you worked overtime to stay with somebody who did not care for you. You knew you wasn't getting nothing out of this. I'm talking about you work hard, okay? Spent money, time, lost friends behind somebody that was trifling. But when it comes to you having to put in the work to work towards something that's going to serve you, that's going to set you up for success. Oh, child. Oh, that's too much work. Oh, okay. But that just comes down to a belief of you don't believe that you are worth the work, and you are. And so, yes, it's hard in these streets right now. It is. I ain't gonna tell a lie to you. I tell people if you don't have to leave your job, don't. But that does not mean that you cannot still work towards what it is that you want. Because guess what? This little time that we in is not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. So why not put in the work for the next 6 months? So when this is over, now it's time to step out. Or you can still work. You can still have a job and look for that next role. You can still get ready. I always say get ready. Now I always say stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Because what happens if the opportunity just pops out the blue? Resumes ain't all that important, but they do hold a place. Half of y'all ain't even updated your resume in 2 years. So if an opportunity come out, you'd be like, oh, I get messages all the time. Can you do my resume? Baby, this is a process. Oh no, I need it now. No, I'm sorry, I can't. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But again, if you're in a job and your resume has not been updated in 6 months to a year, you got comfortable. You stop thinking about your success. You start thinking that this is your forever job. And that's what it is. You stop thinking about what you got to do to make sure that you always stay in a place to where you can attract opportunities and get opportunities at the drop of a hat. Nope, because all I have to think about is the goals at work that I have to meet, these tasks here, and child. Thinking that do not lie to yourself and be like, what would they do if they didn't have me? The same thing they did before they hired you. They're going to be just fine. Trust me. But you be like, you have built yourself up to make yourself feel like I'm just so special. Don't lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself. They will make a way without you. And this is what we are seeing now. We see people that have been with their companies for 16 years, 20 years, and bye. Oh, wait a minute. But you thought you were so special to them people. And you may have been, but to a certain extent. Once you get past that, wait a minute. If we keep you, then wait a minute. I think we're going to lose money. Bye. I don't want you to think that they don't care anything about you. Well, there are some that don't. But there are some companies that there is a concern, right? There is an eye on your success, but only to a certain extent. Because again, at the end of the day, they're going to always choose them. So I want you to always choose you and don't feel bad about it. Don't get so boxed into thinking that you got to have this path that's just clean. You'll be surprised how many people don't want to think about finding another job, right? I mean, they don't even want to think about it because they're like, no, because because they're so afraid to look like a job hopper. No, that's a whole nother live stream. They're so afraid to look like a job hopper, and they want to keep their little thing one page. And child, you missing out on money and opportunity because you want a clean resume. Now, this is not to say go job hop, because I don't believe in job hopping, hoping that a job falls right. But I do believe in you being able to make strategic moves. You being able to make strategic moves, and job hopping is not the same thing, because the reality of it is within 6 months of your role, because I believe that 6 months allows you enough time to really learn the full scope of your job and really get a sense of things. You should be able to tell, this is going to be somewhere where I actually kind of plant myself, or is this me just passing on through? Now, I do understand that when you first start a job, things could be going great, and then sometimes they hire the wrong lead people and things go down the drain. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about with the job that you're in. You should be able to tell within those first 6 months whether or not this is going to keep you in alignment with your goals. Meaning that if you are able to advance at the speed that you desire to, if they are able to pay you competitively, because right now, look, y'all have to know the workforce that we are in. This is stuff that I research all the time. I want to be sure, even with my clients, I'm giving them the most, that my advice and my strategies is fresh. Okay. It's almost like this whole housing thing. You guys know when the virus first started, child, everybody was buying a house. It'd be like folks, you didn't even know. I feel like everybody like, okay, you get a house and you get a house, right? So what happened was they jacked them houses up. People was buying, right? Houses like 30, 40, 50 grand beyond the actual sales price because everybody wanted a house. Well, things started to change. Even right now with this recession, I really feel like people need to research more than them just seeing stuff on the news or online and all of a sudden you getting scared. What's happening now is that things are just correcting itself. That's why I say this season is not going to last. Even right now in this job space, this is what you see happening. Now, a year ago, 2 years ago, baby, you can get a job and you was being paid way beyond what you would have been. But now it's switched. It's switched to where they got way more people who need jobs than there are spots, right? And so I want you guys to understand it and be on alert that they know this. So if this was ever a time to know your worth, as people say, because people say all the time, know your worth. And I would turn back around and say, okay, what is your worth? And then they ain't got nothing to say because you don't know your worth. You're just saying it because it's cute. If this was ever a time to know the value of your skill set, this is now because this is not a candidate's market. It was this past year, not no more. So now you are seeing them starting to like lowball people. They is out here lowballing, right? And so it's not saying that you cannot find the right role for you. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that you will need to be clear on those core skills. It's so important to be clear on the problem that your skill set solves, not the task you do. Move yourself away from that. If you only think about the tasks you do, you are just diminishing your expertise because the expertise you have is not those everyday skills you do. It is the problems that your skill set solves. And the problem that your skill set solves is what allows them to be successful, not the actual vehicle that you might use or the resource or the tool to solve them. Two different things. So this was ever a time to get clear on your core skills. Get clear on those skills that are in high demand right now and understand what is the problem that you want to solve with your skills. This is the time now because if not, you will be lowballed. This is the time now to lean more into what is it that I want to do now, not let me just pick a job that's just available. And hey, you got bills, friend, I get it because I have a family and I would do whatever I have to do to provide for my family. But I also believe even in that mindset, you don't have to operate out of scarcity either. But again, that's a whole nother live stream. So even in this time, gotta get clear. Even with my clients I work with, this is what I help them, right? Because you need to know that you have options. If you just reduce your career, your skill set, your expertise down to some tasks you do, you will forever be stuck. And what happens is when you go look for a job, all you're looking for is, let me see if this job has the same task that I've done. No, skills are able to be moved around. When you think about your expertise, it expands. The expertise is able to be transferred over. So it's really, really important for you at this time that we're in now. Get clear on that. On what are those core skills? What is the impact that you want to make with your skills? So even if you are in a job search, you will now be able to express the value that you hold and it won't feel hard because you have now become one with your expertise. Learn how to master your craft. Learn how to hone your expertise. Learn your expertise inside and out. This is why I teach my clients. Learn it because when you learn it, you understand that you can pivot at any time you want to because you know that it's not just about a job title, but you know this is the impact that I make with my skills. And now when you're in a job search, you won't just reduce your job search down to I gotta look for this job title. No, but it's just so important now to get clear on what is the value there. What is the expertise there? So like I was saying, as you go through that job search, you won't find yourself so nervous and scared because a lot of times you're so nervous and scared because you're like, I don't know what to say. And it's like, why don't you know? Because at the end of the day, they may not, it's going in a whole different direction, but I will share this with you guys. They may not ask you because I was in HR my first 5 and 6 years. The last 3 years of my career was talent development. So this is why I talk the way that I do because this was my job. I've hired for thousands of roles. So a lot of times in the job interview process, through the process, even though they don't say all the same things, but everybody wants to know the same things. And so people will try to think about what is the question. What you got to think about is what is the information that they all want. And so when you can get clear on the framework, or what part of my expertise is it that they really want to know, you can get prepared. So don't think about, I wonder what they're going to say. Think about what is it that they really want to know. When you can get clear on that, you're going to feel prepared, because you know that, okay, wait a minute. They will always, the information here, like, like for instance, them, oh, tell me, like about a story or a time. It's not so much about the story. It's more about, they want to be able to know, how is it that you respond when certain things, meaning that, like, for instance, especially when you find yourself having to go for like a lead role, they want to know how is it that you perform during stress, conflict. So get clear on what is it that they want to know, because it's hard to decide the exact thing. You know what I mean? Because we all ask all kinds of stuff, but at the end of the day, we all want to know the same thing. So that's a way to not make that process seem so stressful. But that's also a clue how in tune with your expertise you need to be. So exactly, they always desire to know, how do you deal with X, Y, and Z. But why do you want to know that? Because you want to know, when things get stressful, how do I respond? Or if there's somebody on my team that's hard, you know what I mean? Like, they want to know that. And so can't stress enough. Do not talk about the task, because I always say, like, the more higher up you go, the less it is about your task and the more it is about your strategy. It's about the way you think. So you got to be able to train yourself to not think about those little things you do all day long. They have to be able to see the problems that you solve and how you think. And so this is the thing. At the end of the day, they don't really care about you. And when I say that, I'm going to explain it. They really only care about those certain parts of you that is going to help their success or will allow it to fail. So yes, it is about you, but it's more about in what ways will those certain parts play out. And this is why I say, like, it's really important to, like, know your expertise, because a lot of people going through the process, they try to lead with themselves way too much, or they want to make it all about them. And it's not about, right? It is about how you are able to help them reach their goals. And so this is why it's key. But again, this whole framework I'm sharing is going to feel hard if you don't know that, if you don't know your expertise, if you don't know the problems that you solve with your skill set. And so that's why it's important for you guys to desire to learn how to just master craft. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you have to be in a certain job, because you may be in a job you like, Alicia, I don't want to do this job anymore. But again, it's not about the job itself. It's about those skills that are there. Even if you are in a job right now, you're like, I don't want, this job is boring. Yeah, but there's still a skill set there. There still are core skills that you will bring away from that job. Strengthen those. Again, don't think about those everyday tasks, because you're like, I don't want to do this no more. I get it. Think about the core skills that are actually being built through those tasks, right? And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be done. There are two different things between a skill set and a task. You use your skills to do a task. And so that's why I say it's important that you guys get really, really clear on what are your core skills or your strengths. Because if you do have to make a move, if you do desire to try something new, now you understand what environments you will thrive in. But if you keep thinking that the only way to be successful or to find a job is to look for these tasks, you are missing out on so many different opportunities. Okay, so I do want to do a quick recap. And I want you guys to definitely have the right mindset about how to survive in corporate America. Not just how to survive, but how to thrive. And I know a lot of people don't like hearing this, but it's true. There is a game. And when I say game, it doesn't mean it's something bad either. But there is a structure that is set up. And it wasn't built for you, except like at work. Like, just find a place to, like, just have a note that says, corporate ain't built for my success. Remind yourself of that. So every time you get the desire to not even think about your needs or your expectations, all for the sake of, no, they were not built for you, but you can still be successful there. It's all about you being able to find the right spaces that is going to allow you to thrive. And it's something I just shared, that you have to be able to find and know what environments you thrive in. It's so important to get clear on what environments you thrive in, because if you don't, what happens is when you find yourself at a job and you find yourself not being able to perform the way that you know that you can perform, you'll start feeling like there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that those things that you need to thrive, they are not there. Right. And so, when you find yourself in this mindset of, hey, not just go find a job, but hey, I need to find a job that is going to allow me to thrive. Now you know what to actually look for. Right. And so if you want to work with me one to one, please hit me up. You are able to schedule a free call. So if there's something that you're maybe not clear on and things of that sort, you can schedule a free call with me. If you want to do a free call with me, go to aliciaperkins.me/discovery. That's aliciaperkins.me/discovery, and let's have a call. And so I'm definitely glad that this was able to add some value. Hit me up. My main little site is LinkedIn. So if you guys would love to chat more, that's kind of where I am most of the time. And so, alrighty, guys. Bye. Bye, y'all.